I'm starting to notice a common theme among analysts, among experts, among websites talking about the 2022 college football season. That common thing is that Georgia is going to be the third best team in college football this year, finish as the third best team behind who? Alabama and Ohio State. I don't think this is super surprising, but what's standing out to me is that I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing it very consistently that Georgia is ranked behind those two teams and kind of ahead of the rest of the pack. That rest of the pack being Clemson, Texas A&M, USC, Oklahoma, all of your regular names, right? But it's happening over and over where Georgia's number 3. It's Bama, Ohio State, or Ohio State, Bama, and then Georgia's number 3. It's in the odds for a national championship. ESPN has it in rankings for the whole season. Athlon Sports, I just saw, has it for their season rankings. So is Georgia going to be the third best team in college football this year? Are they going to be worse than Alabama and Ohio State? I think that we should talk about that a little bit. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here. You know what I did yesterday? Love talking about rankings. I love debunking rankings with you guys. Is Georgia the third best team? Let's figure it out. They beat Alabama, lost a lot of talent, right? Got Ohio State, kind of an underwhelming season, lose to Michigan. Alabama, obviously, lost to Georgia. Got some good transfers, but, lost a few players. But you gained Jermaine Burton and Jahmyr Gibbs. You still have Will Anderson. You still have Bryce Young. You still have Nick Saban. I think Alabama's going to be out for revenge. I kind of see them as being the best team in college football. But now the argument really lies, is Ohio State or Georgia going to be better in 2022? I don't know. I think you lost 2 phenomenal receivers in Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. They went number 10 and 11 in the NFL draft. CJ Stroud is projected to be a top 5 pick in next year's NFL draft. You've got Jackson Smith and Jigba, one of the best wide receivers in college football. They could be really potent, but you lose such a huge chunk of your offense in those 2 guys. But you got a running back that's getting better in Henderson. You got a defense that's probably going to be a little bit better. But now I think it falls on Stroud's shoulders a little bit more this coming season. And then I think it falls on Georgia's offense a little bit more this coming season. So, because Georgia's defense, let's just be real, I don't know if they're going to be quite as good as they were last year, right? That's kind of the consensus. You just lost 5 guys to the first round and a bunch of dudes to the NFL draft, the number 1 overall pick. Historic defense, probably one of the 10 best college football defenses ever. And replicating that can't be easy. It can't be easy, but you do have guys like Jalen Carter and Keely Ringo and Zion Lowe, guys that I think are going to play really well. Nolan Smith, Robert Beal came back. There's, Christopher Smith came back. They've got experience. They've got talent. They've got the freshmen coming in. So the Georgia defense is going to be really good. When you look at Ohio State, you've got Emeka Egbuka, who was a top 10 wide receiver. So what they lost was that receiver room, but they've got kind of a reload. And then the way I look at Georgia is they lost that defense, they get a reload. I think Georgia's offense will be better. It's kind of how I'm comparing these 2 teams. So Ohio State, you got Notre Dame week 1. Georgia, you got Oregon week 1. Let's compare the schedules. Ohio State football schedule. Who's got an easier path? If you look, I think Ohio State's going to beat Notre Dame. Arkansas State's a throwaway. Toledo's a throwaway. Wisconsin at home, they should win that. They should beat Rutgers. I think they're better than Michigan State. I think Michigan State's going to drop off a little bit. I don't think Iowa's going to be too hot this year. At Penn State could be a challenge. Michigan at home, I see them going 11-1 or 12-0. And I see the same thing for Georgia. And so I think this question will come down to the SEC championship, and we know how that went last year. We know Georgia lost to Alabama. I really think it's going to be Georgia-Alabama again. But when we have the national championship, that play happened. And Georgia won, and this book appeared. That's why DAWGSTRUCTION exists for you guys, and you should check it out down below for the complete insider story of Georgia's national championship season. But Georgia lost to Bama, and I think that SEC championship is going to be kind of the deciding factor if we're talking about this top 3. If Ohio State's playing Georgia. Now, head-to-head matchup, I think, is the really fun thing to talk about is, well, that could happen if both these teams make the playoffs. Georgia and Ohio State could definitely play. I don't think Georgia's played. When's the last time Georgia played Ohio State? Doing a lot of Googling during this. Because it's definitely not in my lifetime. January 1st, 1993 is what I'm finding on the Georgia football website. So you haven't played then in, 30 years almost? That would be the best way to determine who's better. But yeah, I'm going to be real. I really think that Alabama is going to be the best team in college football this year because Nick Saban does really well in seasons after they lose a national championship. Alabama tends to bounce back. I think they have the best quarterback in college. I think Bryce Young, as a college quarterback at least, is better than C.J. Stroud. I think they have the best defensive player in college football in Will Anderson. I think he's a wrecking ball, and I think Jalen Carter is number 2 to him. And they have the best coach in college football, and they just added great weapons. You replaced Jamison Williams and John Mechie. Well, you've got Ja'Cory Brooks, a guy that's going to step up. And then you've got Jermaine Burton coming in from Georgia. You've got Jahmyr Gibbs at running back. You still have Trey Sanders. Jahmyr Gibbs coming from Georgia Tech. I think that Alabama's offense is going to be really good, and I think their defense is going to take a step up from what it was last year. Last year was not an Alabama defense you're really that used to, and I think that their offense is going to be just as explosive. So I think Alabama's won. I really do. If I had to predict it today, I'd predict that Alabama's going to win the national championship, and I would feel pretty good about that. Predicting 2 is what's interesting to me. I think it's between Georgia and Ohio State, right? Well, you got Georgia's offense with Stetson Bennett, Kenny McIntosh, Kendall Milton, all those guys. I think Georgia's offense is more stacked, but Ohio State's is more explosive, right? At least that's what we're used to. I think you're going to get a little bit of different of a Georgia offense this year. Splitting hairs, I'm going to pick Georgia because I think their roster's more talented, but Ohio State has a little bit easier of a path, in my opinion, because Georgia is going to have to most likely go through Bama at some point to make it to the college football playoff, unless they finish the regular season 12-0, which is very, very possible. But that top 3, pretty solidified. But who's number 2? Is Georgia or Ohio State going to be better in 2022? I think Alabama's 1. If you disagree, let me know. Who is number 2? I think it's the clear top 3. See you guys at the site, DAWGSTRUCTION.com.